So if you go into YouTube and you search for something like how to sell options or how to trade covered calls or cash secure puts, how to sell credit spreads, basically anything in regards to option selling, chances are a whole lot of nonsense is going to show up. Right? In particular, it seems there is a growing trend on YouTube of people making videos showing you how to create some sort of passive income stream by selling options. And unfortunately, that is simply a fantasy. It's not true. And in this video, I'm going to prove it. And so this video is also going to focus on two main areas related to this topic. Number one, I'm going to talk about how selling options in general is not a way to create passive income simply based on the definition of what passive income is. And then number two, I'm going to show you in particular how selling covered calls or cash secure puts, which happen to be the favorite strategies of all these passive income option selling videos, how those two strategies are especially dangerous right now given the current market environment that we find ourselves in. Right, we're basically in the midst of an emerging bear market. And in my opinion, I do think it's going to get a whole heck of a lot worse over the coming months. And so with cash secure puts or covered calls being bullish strategies, chances are if you're using them right now or have been over the past couple weeks, chances are you're not collecting your steady weekly or monthly paycheck. And believe me, as you'll see in this video, I have tons and tons of examples that will prove this point. Now, as always, before we dive in here, in case you are brand new to the channel, my name is Scott Reese, and I'm here to help you learn how to trade, invest, and master your finances so you can apply that knowledge in the real world and multiply your money. And in case you want to see more trading or investing content after watching this video, you can also find me on Skillshare as well, where you can take my very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing. And I provided some links to some of the introductory courses of mine in the description of this video below. So be sure to check them out. And when you sign up for Skillshare using any of those links, you'll get a full 1 month free trial. All right, so first up here, let's take a look at the actual definition of what passive income is. So passive income is simply income, of course, that requires minimal labor to earn and maintain. Right? Typically, there is some initial form of work done to set up that income stream. And then after that point, there's little to no work involved, and you simply collect money or create revenue going forward. And a very common example of this is making YouTube videos, right? You do the initial work to create the video, and then as long as people watch the video going forward, there's no more work needed to be done. You simply generate revenue, you create income. And the key thing to emphasize here is that there is no risk of losing money by making YouTube videos, right? Because if you look at the definition of income, just income by itself, this is defined to be as money received, especially on a regular basis for some work or labor that you have performed. So it's always money received, money coming into your bank account, not leaving your bank account. Income is a positive stream of cash flow. Right? As with making YouTube videos, the worst that could happen is people stop watching the video and therefore you just generate no income. But that's the worst case scenario. You're never going to actually lose money from making YouTube videos. And so therefore, with those definitions in mind, that's why selling options in general is just not passive income. It is simply untrue to call it that. Now, selling options might be passive in some manner, right? Because you can do the initial work to sell an iron condor, for example, and then do nothing by the expiration date. And if those options expire worthless, then sure, you're going to make some sort of money for doing almost no work. But then I would ask you, how is that different than, for example, buying shares of stock as an investment and selling those shares at a higher price some point down the road and making money that way? Would it be more appropriate to consider that as passive income or rather simply as a positive return on your investment? Right? Because when you talk about investments or speculation in the stock market, those terms carry the connotation of risk taking. There's always the chance, right, that you could lose money and not receive money. So in this light, buying shares of stock as an investment is basically the same thing as selling options as a form of speculation, or perhaps also an investment as well. There's always risk involved, and at some point, you definitely will lose money, which is the exact opposite of income. And the reason why I harp on this point so much is because especially for beginners, new traders that come across these kinds of videos, they definitely are misled into thinking that, wow, I can replace my paycheck at work by just selling put options. It's going to be the same kind of thing. And that is definitely 100% not true. Yes, selling covered calls or cash secure puts are great strategies. Most of the time you will make money, but this cannot be relied on as a steady source of income every week or every month to pay your bills with. So again, because there is always risk involved with selling options or doing anything in the stock market, that's why this cannot be considered as a form of passive income, but rather it can be considered as a passive form of speculation in the stock market. All right, so now at this point, let's take a look at some of the most common stocks that retail traders are using to sell covered calls or cash secure puts on. And this is mostly based on things like daily trading volume, or what I've seen people talk about in YouTube comments or in places like Wall Street Bets. Right, all these stocks have very high implied volatility and typically have gone up significantly over the recent past. So again, these are great candidates for cash secured puts or covered calls. But that being said, like I mentioned earlier, especially in this current market environment, those strategies are very dangerous, especially if you're trying to use them to create a steady form of passive income. So first on our list here is AMD. And if we look at the highest price over the past 1 year compared to the current stock price, this stock is down by 26%. Ouch. Example number 2, Roblox. This stock is down from high to the current price by 64%. Twitter, down by 56%. Pinterest, down 71%. Peloton, down 78%. Uber, down 43%. AMC, down by 76%. GameStop, the notorious GameStop, down by 66%. Even Facebook, this stock is down by 45%. Beyond Meat, down 73%. Robinhood, which of course is the trading platform of choice for all these passive income option sellers. This stock is down by 86% in the past year. Coinbase, down 59%. DraftKings, down 70%. Alibaba, down 55%. And Netflix, down by 44%. And again, keep in mind that selling covered calls or cash secured puts, these are mostly bullish strategies, right? Yes, you can still make money if the stock trades sideways or even goes down slightly, but ideally you want the stock price to increase over time, especially for covered calls. And so with all those stocks being down huge so far, and believe me, that list does go on and on and on, it is very risky business to be relying on cash secured puts or covered calls to create a passive source of income that you expect every week or every month to then pay your bills, for example. And this point here is still valid for option selling strategies in general as well. Iron condors or short strangles, straddles, etc. All these positions can be blown out if the stock moves by a huge degree. And also take a look at the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ as well. For example, with the NASDAQ from top to bottom so far, and I do think it's going to get worse, so far the NASDAQ has been down by 22%. And this is actually a technical bear market. Right? A bear market is simply a drop of a major market index by more than 20%. And then what about the S&P 500? So far, this index has been down by almost 15%. So we're getting pretty close to a bear market there as well. And even though in the past couple of days here, we've seen some pretty vicious rallies, we are still definitely in a major market downtrend, and it doesn't look like it's going to end anytime soon. Moreover, the current environment that we find ourselves in right now has not changed, right? We're still seeing raging inflation, rising interest rates, rising energy prices, and now international conflict, which has the potential to devolve into a much wider scale war. Right? For example, World War I began with the assassination of one single person, albeit an important person. I believe it was the Archduke of Austria, right? But still, the assassination of one individual sparked a war that engulfed the entire planet. Now, of course, I definitely hope that the Russia-Ukraine crisis can be resolved rather peacefully. I hope it does not devolve into a much wider scale conflict. All I'm saying is that definitely is a possibility. And therefore, when you add that on top of, like I said, rising interest rates and rising energy prices, these are some of the key ingredients to trigger a full-scale bear market. So ultimately here, I don't want to discourage anybody from selling covered calls or cash secured puts, right? Even currently, if you think the markets will rebound, for example, these are still great strategies to use. All I'm saying is that you should not rely on them to expect a steady source of passive income. Right? These strategies and option selling strategies in general are simply meant to be tools that you can use to speculate in the stock market and take on risk in the hope of gaining some potential reward. And that is it, nothing more. And so with that being said, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and please let me know your thoughts or if you have questions in the comment section below. And don't forget, if you want to take some very in-depth classes on options trading or stock market investing, then check out my Skillshare courses. Links in the description of this video. And finally, if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a thumbs up, drop a comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I drop new videos every single week, and you don't want to miss out. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.